Hello, welcome wherever you're watching. Welcome to Decision 2024, the elections focus on Oxygen TV with me, Walma Pal. Today, in our first episode of this program, I'm grateful that we are joined by two young and influential students from universities, one from University of Juba and the other one also from Stafford International University. And they are going to talk typically on the definition of elections and how South Sudanese feel about it as well. Remember we are supposed to have our first program, or our first episode rather, by the members from our NEC, or Reconstituted National Elections Commissions, but then we realized that they are yet sworn in, and hopefully when they assume offices or responsibilities rather, then they will be able to take up from there. Dear viewer, thank you so much for being part of this program. And now allow me to introduce to you one of our guests in the studio. And he happens to be a third-year student at the University of Juba, the School of Journalism, Media and Communication Studies. And this vocal and influential young man also served as a program and communication assistant at National Press Club, South Sudan. Moses Ayume Edward, welcome to Oxygen TV, and thank you for giving us your time.
Thank you, Chris Walma Pal. Yeah, I'm glad to be here.
That's great. Thank you so much once again. Moses, as South Sudan now is approaching to the 2024 elections, that has been almost the talk of the nation on every citizen's mouth. You know, wherever, any corner now you'd be going, you'll find everyone is talking about the elections, Can you briefly define what are the elections, or what is elections as a university student?
Well, thank you, Walma Pal, and to Oxygen TV for having hosted me today to have my view on this very critical and important exercise, which is due to happen in our country. Elections is a process where people are able to choose their leaders through fair, free, peaceful, and inclusive means. So when we talk about South Sudan going into elections in 2024 December, we are talking about the people of South Sudan being ready to get into making an exercise that they have not done for so long, and they have been thinking about whether there's going to be a change of the situations of their lives. So it is an opportunity that the people of South Sudan are looking forward to exercise their interest in choosing their leaders in a free, fair, peaceful, and inclusive process.
Thank you so much, Yume. It's just a very good introduction that I can say. Now, as you explain the elections, the definition to elections, I could also ask if you would tell us the observation outside there, how the citizens are feeling. How do they feel about the elections as they are now planned to come up in 2024?
Well, particularly in South Sudan, I just mentioned in the definition that elections are supposed to be free, fair, peaceful, and inclusive. People feel like they're not certain of what's going to happen during the elections, during 2024 December, because of the experiences that some of them have come through, the things they observe on the ground, and to those people who have the understanding of the status quo of the country, the security arrangements, the implementation of the revitalized peace agreement, which they signed in 2018, you realize that there are so many things that are not yet implemented. It includes the training and deployment of the unified forces. It is not yet completed. And also, census has not been done. And also, we have so many refugees, almost half of the population of South Sudan. They are in refugee camps, either in Kakuma, Kenya, in Uganda, or in Ethiopia. And then we also see that economic crisis right now is tearing the people's lives apart. So people feel very insecure that they are going into elections in 2024, which is about a year and a few months, and the situation does not predict.
Moses, do you think the elections are going to change?
Personally, I think yes, elections are going to change the situation of South Sudan, but I cannot tell whether it's going to change for worse or whether it's going to change for good.
Now, from the faces of citizens, as a student journalist, I believe, in observation, and that is what student journalists or journalists rather are good at. What do you see on the faces of South Sudanese? Should the elections happen not to be conducted?
I think, as I said in the beginning, South Sudanese, especially the youth, they need a change. But the lifestyle we have lived, there has been no change. So we are hopeful that when elections are conducted, there will be a change. Now, if that change is negative, it could be better than what we are going through. If it is positive, and then we shall celebrate. So right now, in the faces of my colleagues at the university, and even some youth I do interact with, normally they ask me, when are you completing your school? I tell them, December. They said, we hope you finish before elections. And that indicates that they feel so scared about going into elections, but they want elections to be done. Yeah, so that's the complexity of the life that South Sudanese are in. Yeah.
Moses, recently the reconstituted National Election Commission members were appointed by the president, and they are 9 in number, led by the SPLM in government. What is your concern about that? What do you say about that reconstituted National Elections Commission?
Previously, when the Act for elections, for national elections was passed, there was another article that the IO worked out, and they said, there was power given to the president to appoint, to appoint the members of the Elections Commission. And I also went through the list, and there are 9, and I looked into it. We have 3 IG, we have 2 IO, we have 2 SOAS, and we have
Civil society?
Yes, civil society, 1, and there is 1 from another party. I can't remember the name. So I'm not quite versed with the percentage of sharing there, but I think if these people who are brought into an office can honestly serve the people of South Sudan, and then that will be a good thing. We still can appreciate their work. But if they will also be biased and act under the influence of an individual or political party, and that's what's going to throw us down. Yeah.
And now, what is your take for the politicians or the political parties and the government regarding the elections? What can you tell them? For instance, if you are to meet them today, what will you tell them?
This is a very important point. If I were to speak to the political parties, I would tell them the citizens of South Sudan are no longer interested in party politics. They are interested in conducive environment to carry on their daily lives. They need freedom to express themselves. They need the freedom to do business, to venture into the economy. They need development. They need power. They need good roads. They don't need this fighting that somebody said, senseless fightings. So I would tell the political parties, the leaders, that whatsoever they have in their minds, it should be about the people of South Sudan in truthfulness. Not really in the words, we are fighting for the people of South Sudan, but when it comes to the results, it's something else. So fight, not fight, but do whatsoever you do as a leader, not for yourself, not for your family, but for the people of South Sudan who are right now crying in the refugee camps. They're crying in different places. Most of them are even finding ways of flukking into the Western world. Why? Because they see South Sudan as hell. One of the professors once said that South Sudanese see South Sudan as hell, but now they see the Western world as heaven. So they are trying by all means to get into heaven and leave hell. Now that's very unfortunate for your own country to be described like this, which is basically what is in the eyes of the world. The world is seeing South Sudan as hell. Until today, it is actually categorized as one of the riskiest countries. Yeah. So you can see that really they don't interpret South Sudan as it is supposed to be. We have spoiled our image. I think it is time for the leaders to rebuild ourselves, to rebuild the spirit of South Sudanese, one people, one nation, and to change the narrative of this country. We are now tainted black. We should paint it white. And if the elections can do so, well, I'm so happy to go for it.
This is a very powerful message, Moses Ayume. Thank you so much for joining us. And maybe lastly, I could also ask you to, if you have a message for, the hopeless South Sudanese that are about to lose hope for their country, because of the hard life that they have been going through and all this. Maybe you can just share with us, and then maybe we call it a day.
Thank you so much. Well, to my fellow South Sudanese, children, youth, women, elders, people with disabilities, whatsoever category you belong, if I have mentioned or not, I want to tell you that we still have hope. Our nation is still fresh. We are 10 years, 12 years old, and there is a greater future for us. Our resources are not yet depleted. They are still there. We still have the water, we still have the oil, we still have us, the people. We still have the youth who are in schools. They are growing with knowledge and understanding of the current status. And I want to assure you that this experience which we have up to today, it's a lesson. I encourage that we all take it as a lesson to learn from different attitudes of tribalism, the attitudes of hatred, the attitudes that makes our image dark in the eyes of the world. We can change South Sudan. We can make it a better country in this world. Thank you very much.
Thank you once again, dear viewer. If you just joined us right now, this is Decision 2024, the election focus on Oxygen TV, and my name is Paul Mapal. With me in the studio is Moses Ayume Edward, a third-year student at the University of Juba, pursuing a School of Journalism, Media and Communication Studies. He also served as a communication and he also served as program and communication assistant for National Press Club, South Sudan. Thank you so much, Moses, for having us your time, and thank you so much for the words that you have shared with us. Hope to see you next in the other program.
Thank you.
Good to have you. See you next time.
Good to have you too.
Yeah,
I'm glad to be here on Oxygen TV.
This is Oxygen. Breathe in.